What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to change the oil in your car. So today we're going to be changing oil on this 2000 Hyundai Accent. After you have the vehicle raised safely, you can go ahead and move to the inside of the car. As I stated, you're going to go ahead and set your parking brake, and then you want to put some chocks behind the rear wheels. We're going to go ahead and locate our hood pop here. Go ahead and pull that. I'll go ahead and pop the hood here. Okay, so after popping our hood and everything, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to need. So you're going to need a drain pan, some wrenches or a socket set, an oil filter, pliers, some rags, your oil filter, and your oil. Oil filter and oil can be whatever kind you feel like you want to use. The oil filter wrench is going to be handy in case you can't get the oil filter off by hand. So if you're watching this video because you've never changed your oil before, I'm going to show you a couple things you need to know in the engine bay. This is your oil dipstick. It's generally yellow and it will say engine oil or motor oil on it. And this is your engine oil cap. That will also tell you where to put the oil and what engine or what oil weight to use. So there's just a couple things you need to know. We're going to go ahead and start by taking off our oil fill cap. That's going to let the oil drain a lot quicker. We're going to just go ahead and set that aside. Now, I've already checked the oil in this car and it's completely empty, so I'm not even going to show you the level that it is at. It's just completely empty. There's nothing reading on the stick, which is not good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our oil drain pan. We're going to stick it under the car just so when we get under there, it's under there for us. We're going to take our wrench set or our socket set, whichever you have. We're just going to set them there as well. And our pliers for the oil filter. Okay, so now we're under the car. There's a couple things we're going to have to locate here. One being our oil filter. This is our oil filter here. And then our oil drain plug is right here. So I like to start with taking the oil drain plug off, so we're going to go ahead and get a wrench and figure out which size we need and get that off. Okay, so we have our oil drain pan sitting underneath the oil drain plug. We know what wrench we need. We're going to go ahead and get our wrench on there and get this drain plug loose so that we can get the oil to start draining. Now we want to go ahead and pull that guy right out of there and get the oil to start draining. There it goes. Okay, as you can see, our oil is pretty much done draining, so we're going to go ahead and just put our plug back in. We're just going to hand tighten that. Okay, and then we're going to get our wrench. We're going to go ahead and tighten that back up. You just want to tighten it to about as tight as it was when you took it off. Try and kind of match that. So we're going to go ahead and just snug it down. We're going to take our rag and just kind of wipe up any mess that's sitting underneath the oil pan. Now we're going to move on to the oil filter. So go ahead and move your drain pan underneath the oil filter now. Take your oil filter pliers, if you have them, and go ahead and grab onto that oil filter. Now that I've broken the oil filter loose, we can go ahead and just start to loosen it with our hands and let it drip as well. So we're going to go ahead and let the oil filter kind of empty there. Once it's done dripping, we're going to go ahead and remove it and thread our new oil filter on. Now that our oil filter is off, we can go ahead and get our new one. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of old oil and go ahead and put it on the seal of the new oil filter. That's going to help it spin on and seal properly without tearing that seal up. You also want to check up here on this oil filter surface and make sure that the old seal actually came off with the oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and spin that on by hand. You don't need to use the tool to install it. You just spin it on and hand tighten it. Make sure you're not cross-threading it. Just kind of let it thread on how it wants to. Spin that guy right back on. Just a few turns past tight and you're good to go. You can go ahead and take your rag and kind of wipe that all off as well. Okay, so after you've got your oil filter back on and you got your drain plug back in, now you're ready to move on to the top side. So you're done underneath, you can remove your tools from under the car and all that good stuff. Now we want to go to the top side here. As I said before, you're going to go ahead and remove your oil filler cap, which will be right here. You're going to go ahead and grab a small funnel. Go ahead and place it on top there. That's really going to help you get oil in there without spilling it all over the place. So we have our funnel sitting here. We can go ahead and start pouring our oil in. You can look online and just Google your model, and it'll tell you your oil capacity and your oil weight that you need to use. So I already know how much this needs, so I'm going to go ahead and start pouring oil. Another thing is, you want to make sure that your funnel is clean and you're not introducing any contaminants into your engine. So go ahead and start pouring. So on all of your oil containers, you're going to have this gauge on the side. That's going to tell you how much is there and how much you have left. So that's how you're going to be able to tell how much you're actually putting in. I'm going to add 4.5 quarts to this engine, and then I'm going to use the dipstick to tell me how much I need to add as well. And I'm just going to keep adding and keep checking until I have a full level on my dipstick. Now we've poured about 4.5 quarts in. I'm going to go ahead and check the dipstick level and see what it says we're at. So you guys may not be able to see very well, but we're on just right at the full mark, so we're good to go. This is oil staining here, so you won't be able to see it very well in the camera, but we're right at our second dot here at the full line, so we're good. This is full. For yours, you may need to add or drain some, and to drain it, you literally just go down and loosen that drain plug again and just empty a little bit of oil at a time until she's back to full. After you have added your oil and you're at the correct level, you can go ahead and take your funnel out, clean that up, get it cleaned up so that when you use it next time, you don't have to worry about cleaning it. And you can go ahead and reinstall your oil filler cap. So your oil change is pretty much good to go. Now you can just put the hood down and start the car up and drive it around and make sure it's all good to go. The last thing I want to tell you is that your used oil you can take to any auto parts store, your whole container, and they'll dump it for you and give you the container back, and you can also recycle your oil filter there. Alright, so the last piece of advice I can give you before I go is that if you were going to change your oil filter and your oil again yourself, go ahead and take a piece of masking tape and put it on somewhere and write with a Sharpie the oil filter number, the weight, and how many quarts it took to fill it, so that the next time you change the oil, it's that much easier for you. Well guys, that's it for me for now. Hopefully this helps you get your oil changed at home if you need to get that done over this quarantine or anything else you guys have going on. Go ahead and comment down below if you have any questions or you have any other ideas or anything that you want me to make a video about. And that's it for me. We'll see you guys next time.